Welcome back to The Basement. I'm Steve Lewis. This week, we return to the Beach Boys' appearances on series television, picking up where Part 2, which was episode 256, left off. We'll wind up the Beach Boys' appearances on Full House and look at John Stamos, now over 30 years of performing Dennis Wilson's Forever. As discussed in 256, Mike Love had made a solo appearance on the final episode of Full House Season 3, our very first telethon, which aired on May 4th, 1990. The next Beach Boys appearance came in Season 5. Things were changing for Full House. At the beginning of Season 5, in the fall of 1991, ABC moved the show from its trusty Friday night time slot to Tuesday nights. Full House was still one of ABC's highest-rated shows, finishing its fourth season at number 14 in the ratings. The move had it opening ABC's Tuesday night sitcom lineup. It was followed by a new show, Home Improvement, starring stand-up comic Tim Allen. It was a show ABC clearly had high hopes for. Home Improvement was followed by ABC's highest-rated show, Roseanne, which finished the 1990-91 season at number 3 in the overall ratings, behind the number 1 Cheers on NBC and the number 2 60 Minutes on CBS. After Roseanne came another of ABC's popular sitcoms, Coach, which had finished the prior season at number 18. There were changes within the show, too. As discussed in episode 256, The Beach Boys on Series TV Part 2, John Stamos' Uncle Jesse had married Lori Loughlin's Becky Donaldson in Season 4, Episode 19, The Wedding Part 2, which aired on February 15, 1991, in a ceremony during which he performed Dennis Wilson's Forever. Shortly after the move to Tuesday nights, Jesse and Becky had twin sons, Nicholas and Alexander, in a two-part episode, the first of which is made up largely of clips from earlier shows. Both episodes aired on November 12th, exactly 9 months after The Wedding Part 2. Of course, they needed to keep the Full House full, so rather than move out, Jesse, Becky, and the twins had moved into the Tanner's attic, a la Greg Brady on the Brady Bunch. The Beach Boys, 2 of them at least, make a return appearance in Season 5, Episode 25, Captain Video Part 1, which aired on Tuesday, May 5th, 1992. With the house so full, the episode required a number of plots to give everybody something to do. Danny and Stephanie are deeply involved with Michelle joining the Honeybees and trying to earn a cooking badge. DJ is trying to wrangle permission for a summer study program in Spain. Joey has to fire Jesse from his job at the TV station due to budget cuts, which, Jesse says, is just the inspiration he needs to finally put together a demo for that new label, Fatfish Music. Later, in their attic apartment, Becky tells Jesse he's getting gray hair, which sets up some shtick for later. Worse, Jesse gets a call from Fatfish Music passing on his demo. I'll give Fatfish Music credit for the personal touch, calling people up to reject them instead of just returning the demo with a letter. Jesse is understandably depressed, so much so that when Becky invites him to come down to the TV studio because the Beach Boys will be on the show, he passes. After the commercial break, during which she's gone to the station and done the show with the Beach Boys, Becky rushes into the house calling for Jesse and telling DJ that Uncle Jesse is going to flip. Mike and Bruce from the Beach Boys are here. She says she promised them some good old-fashioned home cooking, and then the laugh line, she tells DJ to call chicken on wheels. Mike and Bruce enter to cheers and applause, but considerably less fanfare than the whole group got 3 seasons earlier. It's understandable. At this point, a Beach Boy or two dropping by is getting to be a kind of everyday occurrence around the Tanner house. And we all made some questionable fashion choices in the 90s, but I'll never understand Mike's decision to turn up dressed as the Dutch Boys Paints logo. It's a bold move, to say the least. Meanwhile, Bruce rocks a very 90s big dog shirt. Not knowing why Becky called him, Jesse comes down with hair color on his head, creating the embarrassing situation set up earlier and allowing Mike to call Jesse Miss Clairol. Jesse greets Mike, as he always does on the show, by calling him Dr. Love. Bruce he just calls Bruce. Saving them from having to deliver too many lines, Becky tells Jesse, Mike and Bruce came over because they heard you had a new studio and they'd like to jam. Mike adds they also came for Becky's home cooking, which of course comes as a surprise to Jesse. By this point, Jesse seems pretty blasé about the prospect of jamming with the Beach Boys, but he tells them, I'll call the guys and they'll be here in 10 minutes. Cut to Jesse performing Forever with Mike, Bruce, and the guys already in progress. The rest of the Tanner family look on appreciatively, and Mike and Bruce provide some backing vocals. The song winds down, and as we can see in the cutaway shots, the chicken, corn, potatoes, and coleslaw has arrived from Chicken on Wheels. By the way, I hope there's more food around there somewhere. I'm counting Jesse, 2 Beach Boys, 4 band members, plus 6 other Tanners. DJ might have underordered if that's all they have to feed 13 people. And not to sound ungrateful, but I might also ask for a plate less likely to have had Dave Coulier's big old hiking boot in it. Anyway, everybody heads over for a meal as Jesse talks about what a great song Forever is. He mentions having sung it to Becky at their wedding and says if he had a song like Forever, he's sure that Fat Fish Records would sign him like that. Back in season 2, after a Beach Boy huddle, it was Bruce who announced the whole family was invited to the Beach Boys concert. Now, ever generous, Bruce unilaterally tells Jesse, you want it, you got it. Then asks Leon to please pass the coleslaw. There's some light banter over dinner with Jesse doing a brief impression of Elvis singing Surfin' USA, followed by Mike doing a short version of Surfin' USA accompanied by bongos and acoustic guitars. That brings Mike and Bruce's appearance in the episode to a close. We dissolve to what appears to be the next day. Jesse enters the kitchen and delivers exposition to Michelle, telling her that he has a great version of Forever with the Beach Boys and is off to deliver it to Fat Fish Records, saying, they're gonna love this baby. Before he goes, he samples Michelle's latest attempt to earn a honeybee cooking badge, tuna cream, a mix of tuna and Oreo ice cream. Jesse gives her a talk about perseverance, which has more to do with Jesse's music career than it does her cooking badge, and comes with cost-saving, episode-padding flashbacks of Jesse's musical misadventures on previous shows, including a couple more Elvis impersonations. After the commercial break, Jesse returns from Fat Fish Records. Once again, Fat Fish shows an amazing personal touch. First, they're happy to immediately listen to another demo by somebody they just passed on the day before. Even more amazing, they don't just sign a new act, they'll send their A&R man home with you to tell your entire family that you've been signed. Smarmy A&R man David Janalori tells the family Jesse and his band blew me away. I had no choice. I had to sign them. David then tells Jesse, Cat, let's rap, and explains that, as far as he's concerned, the key to Jesse's success will be a video with lots of dancing. Jesse warns him that he doesn't dance. David shrugs it off and assures him, when we get finished, everyone will be dancing the Jess Man. By the way, earlier in the episode, DJ got permission to go to Spain and Michelle earned her cooking badge. Uncle Jesse's story, meanwhile, is to be continued. Mike, Bruce, and also Carl appear only technically and very, very briefly in the conclusion, Captain Video Part 2, which aired a week later on May 12, 1992. It was the season finale. David Janalori arrives at the Tanner house, bringing with him Richard Williams, who he introduces as one of the hottest video directors and choreographers in the business. Uncle Jesse sensibly points out that Forever is not really a dance song and more of a ballad. David tells him, we've re-recorded it and now it's a rap song. Jesse protests that he's not really a rapper, to which David says, Vanilla Ice said the same thing. This is followed by some comically inept dancing from Jesse in the Tanner living room as Richard tries to teach him the Jess Man. After some of the B and C stories in the episode, we find Jesse on the set of a video featuring David's hot new concept, a whole Arabian genie thing. Of course, the rap version of Forever and the video are terrible, and the shoot goes wildly and comically wrong. Jesse tells them it's not what he wants to do and takes a walk in the best Adios Johnny Bravo tradition. At home, he immediately regrets having blown his big break and decides he'll go along with David's vision. David arrives, Jesse apologizes, David proceeds to tell him that without Fatfish Records, he's nothing. Jesse pivots and bluffs that he has another offer. Jesse tells him they do the song his way or it's no deal. David, having obviously been born yesterday, immediately caves and agrees without reservation. After the station break, Jesse and the family are already gathering round to watch his taped appearance on MTV. Everybody's favorite VJ, Martha Quinn, appears as herself, interviewing Jesse, who is comically nervous, of course, and she introduces Jesse and the Rippers' new video, Forever. Martha asks, "It's a Beach Boys song, isn't it?" Jesse tells her, "Yes, the Beach Boys and I are like this." And they roll the video. It appears to have been shot on an old Mission set left over from a Sam Peckinpah movie or something. At the first "Forever, Forever," there's a 3.1 second pan across Stamos, Mike, Carl, and Bruce. The second time it occurs, there's a 2.7 second shot of Carl and Stamos singing into the same mic. Apparently, Jesse has been sleeping nude outdoors on a bed in the stockade. There are also some nude shots of the babies, which I'll spare you. Probably the oddest thing about it is that it seems to both be trying to give us sexy John Stamos and cute, kind Uncle Jesse, the new father. Two things which kind of don't go together very well. Apart from that, it's a pretty standard, even cliched, early 90s adult contemporary music video. Jesse describes watching it as the greatest 2.5 minutes of my life and hands out copies of the CD to the whole family as the credits roll. Following the normal teen heartthrob route, you would have expected that Forever would have immediately been issued as a John Stamos single, followed by a quickie John Stamos album. Instead, of course, it was issued 3 months later on August 3rd, 1992, as part of the Beach Boys' Summer in Paradise album. Making the music video part of the season finale not only raised its importance to Full House fans, but placed it as close to the album's release as possible. Promotional CD singles of Forever, credited to John Stamos with the Beach Boys, were produced in the US and in Australia, but it doesn't ever seem to have been commercially released as a single. Famously, Summer in Paradise will make less than a ripple when it's released, reportedly selling less than 1,000 copies. With its move to Tuesday nights, Full House had bounced back up to number 7 in the ratings. I've got to believe in 1992, Forever would have done much better as a John Stamos single than as part of Summer in Paradise. In the fictional world of Full House, however, the song will be a worldwide single and a number 1 hit in Japan for Jesse and the Rippers. We'll get a sequel of sorts a few months later in Season 6, Episode 3, Road to Tokyo, on October 6, 1992. In that episode, Fatfish Music sends Uncle Jesse and family to Japan to capitalize on their number 1 hit single. The Rippers are obviously there somewhere, though we only see them on stage where they perform Help Me Rhonda, with Jesse comically reading Japanese lyrics from cue cards, and of course they perform Forever. Jesse's ego swells when he's treated like a star until he learns an important lesson about family. He pulls the plug on a proposed year-long Asian tour, effectively ending his long-sought music career, and returns to the Full House. One thing I'll say for John Stamos, he latched onto Forever and has held on with a vice-like grip for over 30 years now. I really can't think of any performer who's gotten more mileage out of performing one single song. On July 19th, 2013, on The Tonight Show with Jimmy Fallon, Jesse and the Rippers will be reunited, performing what is introduced as a medley of their hits, which consists of Forever, of course, Little Sister, Hippie Hippie Shake, and the Full House theme song. The whole thing is done in character, with Bob Saget briefly appearing in the audience and Lori Loughlin as Becky coming out to congratulate him at the end. It's a fun appearance. Fallon's high-concept introduction, in which he says they had a number 1 hit in Japan, I think created some confusion among viewers who were left thinking that they really did have a hit with Forever. When Full House is revived as Fuller House in 2016, Stamos will perform the song on the premiere episode and several times on the show thereafter. In 2023, he'll record a lullaby version of the song with Jax. And of course, he'll continue to perform it with Mike and Bruce's Beach Boys band. Whatever else, I'll give John Stamos credit for his ability to grab that song and hold on to it with a bulldog-like grip to the exclusion of pretty much everything else. That'll do it for this week and for our look at Full House. I hope you'll join me next week when we will wrap up our look at the Beach Boys on Series TV. In the meantime, I look forward to your comments. Thanks for watching. Please hit like if you don't mind and subscribe if you haven't. Have a great week. Bye.